veto and see where we will be heading for map number 2. Consulate, of course, is auto-banned. And Clubhouse will be the final map. A map that is, I believe, quite good for both teams.
Yeah, it is. And look, especially FNATIC, they had a great match against Sinister last night on Clubhouse. And they have proven multiple seasons across with multiple rosters that Clubhouse is a real comfort zone for them. So I think that's got to be scary for Homeless. But they're going to back themselves on Clubhouse. They've had some good performances. They had that draw against Wildcard on Clubhouse, which probably is giving them some confidence to go up against FNATIC on it. Yeah, and that Clubhouse game was really interesting because at the start, Homeless played super aggressive. Like, you would not have expected a Challenger League team to play as aggressive as they did. But then they sort of realized that Wildcard were willing to just step back and let them make mistakes. And then as the map progressed, they continued to evolve, and we saw them play a little bit more strategically, a little bit more methodically, and that really did pay off. They got a really nice draw. Will they be able to back it up against FNATIC? I don't know. It's going to be tough. It's definitely a different beast, that's for sure. I mean, Wildcard are a strong team, but FNATIC have just proven to be at a completely different strength again this season, especially compared to Wildcard's performances so far. So it's definitely not going to be easy Homeless, that's for sure. Well, we think Homeless might look a little bit shaky, but what do you guys think? Let's bring up the poll and see what everyone is expecting from this matchup. In a second, let's bring up the poll. There we go. That good. Yes, FNATIC is 83%. Yep. Pretty standard, yeah. Yeah. I wouldn't expect anything less, I wouldn't think. There's a couple of extra percent towards Homeless, but I mean, at the end of the day, I think this indicates exactly what most people will be thinking, and I think rightfully so. FNATIC have not given anybody much of a reason to doubt them at this stage. Some strong performances tonight, and that first map was still quite good. So, yeah, I think that's pretty fair. Yeah, I mean, yeah, a couple of people shifting towards Homeless. Maybe they've sort of seen what we've seen in the fact that that match was quite close if you sort of analyze each round. Let's go back to Clubhouse, though. It's a map that we know FNATIC is strong on. What do Homeless need to do to really dislodge them? Because, as you mentioned, they look very comfortable. They don't seem too phased by anything. I mean, last night, Magnet was very adamant that his team, you know, he's seen everything, he's played against everything, he's comfortable against everything on this map. Yeah. So what do Homeless need to do? They need to play their game. I think you made a really great point about how they beat Wildcard with that aggression. I know FNATIC are probably going to be prepared for it, but there's nothing better than when you're all playing in your comfort zone. So I think maybe if they haven't tried to adapt to FNATIC too much and they still play their game, that might be what's needed to actually get some rounds against FNATIC here. Clubhouse will be the map. Homeless on the defense. Let's see who they take off the board. It'll be Maverick. That is absolutely shocking. Maverick never taken off this map, Raven. Yeah, actually, you know what? I think that's that was sarcastic, by the way, guys. Yeah, that was sarcasm, guys. It was very funny. But it's extra good because, like, FNATIC were using Maverick so well last night. Magnet looked so comfortable on Maverick. So I think that's just an extra level of the Maverick ban on Clubhouse here. So nicely played from Homeless. And FNATIC probably going to do, what do we think? Oh, it's a Capital ban. Thatcher is available, guys. Oh, my gosh. What are FNATIC doing? FNATIC must have accidentally picked him. Surely. There's no way that they didn't take Thatcher off the board. Look, you know what? I mean, jokes aside, though, that actually is pretty interesting because despite Capital being a strong ban on this site, the fact that FNATIC haven't gone with their comfort ban suggests to me that maybe they're trying to mix it up here and throw Homeless off a little bit. Yeah, it actually also shows me that they've done a lot of research, obviously, onto Homeless, because actually it's a comfort pick for Homeless a lot. They bring the Capital quite a bit. And he's really helpful for dealing with things like the bandit trick on CCTV. So getting rid of the Capital, yeah, it's a good ban as well. And I think it'll make a bit of an impact. Nothing too surprising on defense, though. The Mirror Echo off the board means Maestro will still be up, but again, we're not strangers to this situation, that's for sure. Gym and Bedroom, that'll be the first site that Homeless will attempt to defend. It's a site that has become, I feel, increasingly popular, particularly on the first pick. Cache and CCTV for a long time was the place to go, but as attackers have started to figure out more efficient ways in taking that site, defending teams try to mix it up a little bit. So I'm interested to see what Homeless bring to the table here. Yeah, and look, Gym Bedroom is a great bomb site because if you completely ignore CCTV cache, it's not really easy to attack. You're probably looking for a gym plant, and sometimes it can be really tricky to isolate that bathroom hallway from the jacuzzi balcony. So you usually have to try and do some kind of CCTV cache there, which is not easy. It requires a lot of coordination, a lot of utility. So yeah, it's a great site in that regard. And I think for a lot of teams, it's starting to become a little bit more favored to CCTV cache, which for a while was the default first pick.
Attackers have discovered the location of a bomb.
Homeless looking to extend their sight over towards cash. We see a lot of teams do that. Helps gain extra control of the map and allows you to monitor the balcony or the little walkway near the windows over towards the objective, which is very powerful as a defender to hold. Hayward, meanwhile, he's below, expecting him to likely go above and bandit trick. He still has 3 batteries to use, and it looks like that will be the case. So it's going to be really up to Magnet, Mentalist, and maybe Tex on the Zofia to help him open the wall over at Jacuzzi, and it looks like that will be the case. I think the earlier that FNATIC can open this wall, the better off they'll be for the rest of the round.
Yeah, and they took no time in opening it last night against Insta. It's something that was very commendable for them was their time management and efficiency. And already we're seeing them over at the wall ready. Hayward isn't there bandit tricking at this stage, but maybe it's something he's going to do once he sees that first EMP go off. Ooh, a little bit of bat finger there from Strider, not wanting to throw that C4 just yet. And look, that bandit trick was not there at all, and that wall is open very quick now, guys.
The wall is open, but it is a hard entry. Lusty, though, gets Hayward. No idea where Hayward was at the moment. Looks like he was actually on the main stairs. So the peek there from Lusty, likely with the ACOG, just completely shuts him down. And now it's up to Strider to hold the breach. A very risky position he's found himself in. If the windows behind him get breached, he will be compromised. But it looks like he's quite comfortable in the meantime, despite being droned out.
Yeah, he's very keen just to sit in this position. He's trying to get a little cheeky peek on entry. Virtue likes to enter quite aggressively and quite quickly into that hallway, but maybe not so much this time as it isn't a whole lot there. It is Tex that does the entry, though. He is taken out with some nice shots by Strider. Strider, again, getting a nice angle through that bench, but the C4 pull at a bad time. Virtue will finally get the refrag on him. Magnet has been taken down, though, to approximately 5 HP. Just an absolute sliver of HP.
Dino actually has replaced that position quite quickly now. In a very aggressive crossfire. He is running the AUG, so he will be able to spray down any members outside of the Jacuzzi wall, namely Virtue and Magnet. But he seems quite content in playing passive. Magnet, though, could drone him out, and that could spell the end of him. Taking on Virtue in that 1v1 will be risky. It seems like they might have some intel as Magnet is holding that angle, but as you mentioned, Raven, he's super, super low. If he peeks, that one shot will be enough to kill him. Meanwhile, when they try and push up the stairs, Arlo misses the first of his smoke grenades, but still has plenty left to try and re-attempt the throw. The push now seeming to come in. No, they're just going to stall out here. FNATIC not able to quite get in yet. Dino really content in just holding this angle. The peek's going to come out from Virtue, and he absolutely shuts him down with the SMG. Finds his double, and that opens up the round now for FNATIC. It's Arlo and Stigs that need to clutch it up, but Virtue gets a third, and Stigs needs to rotate from Con. This doorway has many angles it can be watched from. He gets one there onto Virtue. The pre-fire secures his double. This round's still winnable. We know Magnet's low on HP. If Stigs can take out Mentalist, Magnet will find it really tricky to clutch this one out, Raven.
Yeah, FNATIC need to be very careful as they set up their positioning here because Magnet is the one with the diffuser. He's the one that's going to have to try and stick it, and it's not going to take much for him at all. Stigs gets one onto Mentalist. He just has to get to Magnet. Nice clutch from Stigs there, guys. You called it. The circumstances were set up, and he steps up and performs. Great play from Stigs.
Fantastic 3K there from Stigs to win the round, but also great play from Virtue. He was the one that set up that attack for FNATIC. It just wasn't quite enough in the end. That damage done to Magnet early cost him late. Stigs played this really well. That pre-fire into Virtue was beautiful. And then, of course, the plant denial was really strong as well. Unfortunate that Mentalist couldn't hold that position, but oh well. It's just one attack. I don't think they'll be two-phased.
Yeah, and I mean, the defense, a lot of people would say, is supposed to win more rounds than not in Clubhouse. So business as usual for Homeless at this stage. FNATIC, nothing to really stress about too much, but again, it looked quite good for Homeless. I mean, Stigs did get a nice little 1 versus 3 clutch there, but they were set up in some pretty good positions, and they definitely didn't look scared. Strider taking heads-up gunfights at that spar deck wall. It's a great sign that they're looking confident still. They haven't been pushed off their game after map 1. So yeah, I think FNATIC, they're going to have to definitely pull out some strength here because Homeless are ready to fight.
As I alluded to earlier, we saw Homeless play this quite aggressively early against, rather, when they played Wildcard. And they sort of tuned it down a little bit in the second half of that map. I wonder if there's going to be a trigger in this occasion where they start to wind it back a little bit. I don't think they were overly aggressive, other than that gym peak in that sort of first round, which may potentially have cost them and allowed the 3v1 to really eventuate in the end. Either way, those Stigs shut it down, so they still got the round on the board, and that's what counts. That's the one stat at the end of the day that you can look back on and say, yeah, we did alright, or yeah, we didn't do so well. So look, I think Homeless will just play their game for the meantime.
That's it, and some good intel for Strider there on that Mozzie drone. Probably, oh, okay, maybe that is what he wanted to do. Not too sure there, but no longer going to get the intel in Garage. But Virtue again opens the scorecard, taking out Dino very early. Maybe that is what you could call some over-aggression there, guys. Not too sure, but not great position for Homeless to start off with.
Ah, Virtue. You just don't want to verse him, do you? Doesn't lose many gunfights. He won that one. Now FNATIC have a really nice advantage. They're trying to aggress him once again here. Virtue tries to pinch that player peeking. It was Stig's, I believe, that's on the mid-stairs, but he's going to find himself down. Chased by a drone as well, but he skates away. He's on about 20 HP, so not the best position to be in if he wants to try and joggle that wall late. But if Homeless can waste more time, maybe that won't be taken into consideration.
Yeah, it's going to be a bit of a big C- on that roam there, guys. It took only a minute to clear out. They lost Dino, and Stig's is essentially a one hit now. And they haven't really achieved anything else with it. So FNATIC, great effort on the roam clear. Homeless maybe completely misreading the situation to see whether they can hold it back now. As Lusty's going to start working on these hatches, and this is the next stage of challenge for FNATIC. If they can get kitchen hatch open relatively quickly, this could spell a lot of danger for Homeless.
Arlo on the smoke, he's playing inside of Church, the tight angle with the shotgun, but FNATIC are hunting everyone down with drones as they love to do. Magnet opens up the hatch, pre-fires the angle that Arlo was actually trying to contest. Doesn't hit him though, and he will be able to fall back towards the door. Stigs is attempting to trick the wall, or juggle the wall if you will. He's placed all three bandits, so Mentalist should be able to clear those with ease. Tex pressuring from behind, and Tex is in a really nice position to take Stiggs out. It's only going to take one bullet and he will be dropped from that long angle, but it looks like he has someone contesting him inside of blue. That's actually Strider and Raven. If he gets this kill, maybe Homeless will bring it back.
Yeah, definitely going to be an important kill here, clearing this blue position. It's such a critical part of trying to hold this bomb site. Hayward has been taken out now, though, so it's a 5 versus 3. It's not looking good at all for Homeless. There is 30 seconds to go, though, so FNATIC are going to have to get a move on for this execute. Lusty does find another, so it's all up to Strider and Arlo. Make it just Arlo. Make it nobody as FNATIC actually get a flawless round, guys. They just look so good on that attack.
Classic FNATIC. Cleared out those roamers with ease. Left themselves with a lot of time to go for the execute, and probably the most time, or the most comfortable they've looked on an attack so far. And look, it translated to a flawless round. So if they can continue the trend of clearing ground early, shutting down angles and preventing Homeless from rotating, then they're going to be set for the rest of this half. I feel like at the moment, it is 1-1, but FNATIC just on that round have really swung things in their favour.
Yeah, a lot of momentum is going to be felt out of that round. That was so strong, and I think it's going to hype FNATIC up a bit. Hopefully Homeless can just brush past it. I think it was really off the back of not a great roam. Dino picked super early, and then Stiggs just tagged too low, all within the first 45 seconds. So I think they're going to have to rein that in, try and play just that little bit more patient game, which we saw on Consulate. There was actually some great patience out of Homeless on Consulate, which I think worked out well for them. So let's see if they can replicate that here now. They are attempting CCTV cache, not looking to re-stick that church bomb site.
That is some interesting reinforcements. Homeless reinforcing double wall as well as the single on bathroom. So we may well see a couple players playing over on that side of the map. Reinforced in a similar fashion to how you would if you're holding that bomb site. So we don't often see teams invest a lot of utility on that side of the map. It's not probably quite as powerful as, for example, holding cache when you're defending bedroom, but it looks like Homeless want to dedicate to this. And maybe they're trying to pressure FNATIC into wasting more time, because as we mentioned earlier, when FNATIC don't have a lot of time for that execute at the end, once it's been drained out, they start to look a little bit dicey in those final seconds.
It's going to come down to what kind of delay I think that Homeless can provide on that CCTV wall. The fact that there is no Maverick means that there's going to have to be some kind of attempt to stop the bandit trick. It's most likely going to be through that Zofia, using the concussions, the famous way to stop a bandit trick, but at the moment, Stiggs actually isn't at the wall, so I'm not sure if they're even going to bother bandit tricking. It doesn't look like they are. He's over completely on the other side of the map, and FNATIC aren't having a bar of trying to clear that master. They're just going to go straight for CCTV.
Very risky setup here from Homeless. If FNATIC establish control of this wall and get themselves into server quickly, it's going to be really hard for those Homeless players on the other side of the map to rotate and actually shut down the plant. FNATIC will now drone it out, and I feel like if they get the intel that there's only a couple of players on site, they could well kick it off quickly here.
Yeah, and they can now really easily cut this rotate for the Garage Catwalk player. to come back because they have that rotate hole just on that wall on the south side of CC. And look, there's still 2 players from Homeless on the other side of the map that have not quite rotated back. Stigs is the first one back, playing in construction, but nothing has been touched at all on that side of the map. All the utility there, pretty ineffective at this stage.
Magnet sending some pings out, as it looks like there was an evil eye on that wall. I think that has now been taken out. Minute 30 on the board. FNATIC just putting down that groundwork and waiting for that right time to go for the execute. It feels like they're just setting up everyone for the rush in for default plant. But both Strider and Arlo are watching the breach. Hayward as well is on the catwalk. So it's going to be pretty tough for FNATIC. Virtue gets taken down low as well. It sounded like a nade potentially, so maybe he naded himself. Either way though, FNATIC now will go for the rush in. That's Magnet inside of the breach and it's all popping off now. There is the one on the catwalk and he will be taken down by Magnet. The diffuser has now been sent in by Tex. Strider's still holding that breach. He hasn't found a play yet. Arlo, though, will drop Lusty, so it is a 3-on-4.
It is, and they are on site. Tex is the one with the diffuser, though, and he is the one out on the balcony. Shoots that C4. That could be pivotal as Virtue finds Dino, making it a 3 versus 3. Both teams pretty even on HP. Arlo almost taken out from that balcony. Plant still hasn't been attempted as Tex hasn't been able to get in. Arlo finds his double. That smoke damaging and killing Magnet. Tex makes it a 2 versus 1 now. He's in a position where he can start the plant.
He hit a 1v3 previously, but can he hit another clutch? The sound goes out, the C4 as well. Down towards default, but Tex will run away in time, and now Virtue will need to cover the plant. He's outside on the breach, so Stigs will need to go for that angle, and he knows that there's probably a player watching there. The plant got faked, but it doesn't matter. Virtue gets the kill either way.
Ooh.
He actually got down, so close one there in the end, but FNATIC will secure the round.
Final bullet at the SMG-11 kick, just hitting the head, saving the round potentially for FNATIC. Tex did look like he was ready to try and pop around for the refrag though. Good attempt from Homeless again, but FNATIC just proving too strong. They move up to 2-1 now. Looking pretty good on their attacks. Not overly shaky, still looking quite confident. That rush through to get to the plant spot, proving quite effective.
Church and Arsenal. Homeless looking to re-attempt that site. They weren't successful on the first occasion. That was off the back of the Stigs clutch in round number 1. Then round number 2, they did go below. They didn't win it. Quite a strong performance there from FNATIC, flushing out those players and holding their rotates. But again, I feel like Homeless, they're edging so close to winning some of these rounds, despite FNATIC having that momentum and that composure. Homeless, time and time again, are really gritting it out and getting picks, but it just hasn't quite been enough, and it must be so frustrating for them.
Absolutely, and I think it's just so important for them at this stage is to try and just stay focused on the positives. That Pest does catch that drone for Strider, so nice job there. But yeah, Homeless need to stick to the positives because, as you said, they have looked pretty good. They really are putting up a good fight to FNATIC here, and that's not to be understated. Stigs catches, or not catches a drone, but finds a drone there in the strip club. Will shoot that, and they are looking like they're going to attempt some kind of roam again, Guz.
Attackers are moving out to locate a bomb.
I've seen a couple of teams globally trying to attempt this. SSG, I believe, has been one of them. They typically use castle barricades to hold off the rotates, but Homeless haven't brought that operator to the board. Probably not really fitting into their playstyle, as Castle isn't the best. Probably not the best fragger. The UMP is a little bit slow in fire rate, doesn't have the best damage either. It'll be interesting to see how Homeless trying to hold this. Virtue, that was almost a kill. And I get the impression that FNATIC are well acquainted in really clearing out this roam, and Homeless, if they're overzealous, they could find themselves in a world of hurt.
Absolutely, and as you said, it is a strat that we've seen a lot of teams do, and it's kind of been popularized by SSG. Even FNATIC themselves have done similar roams in the past, so definitely no stranger of how to clear it, as they are droning it out very thoroughly now. And Tex pushing through Garage, they've already got quite a lot of control, and it looks like the roam has probably dropped back. Homeless choosing to be a little bit more patient this time, which is great. They haven't lost that early man. They're a minute down. At this stage, it was essentially a 5 versus 3 in favor of FNATIC last time. So this is definitely a better position for Homeless.
We did see Tex push down blue on the last occasion and really held off the rotates behind the bar. He'll probably do something similar now, but meanwhile, Magnet alongside Mentalist, the Thermite and Thatcher duo, they'll be trying to get the hatch in bar. That'll give them some nice angles in towards Moto and allow them to drop later in the round if required. And it looks like Raven, that roam really didn't do much.
No, it's just a bit of a time delay and they pulled back. Potentially just favouring the fact that they wanted to still keep equal man count coming into the second half of the round. Definitely a slightly slower attack from Fnatic due to that roam, so it's potentially 1+ for Homeless, but has it been slow enough? Will it stall out Fnatic enough is the big question here. So far, Fnatic is just starting to breeze through opening these hatches, which is going to start to spell a lot of danger for Homeless, because it means that Execute can come out a lot quicker.
Virtue gets the first, that Stig's off the board. Dino follows it up onto Lusty, so that'll be one hard breach taken out, and I'm sure Magnet... Oh, Magnet does have one exothermic left, but Dino drops Virtue. Magnet's still in a position to potentially get the wall open, but he doesn't have a lot of time, and Fnatic don't have the man advantage. They're trying to play vertical, but Homeless, they're holding strong in places where they can't be seen. It's going to really come down to how Fnatic try and approach this round, and if Homeless can really hold off this rush that's probably impending.
Yeah, that Lusty pick was huge because they did not get the kitchen hatch open, which means Magnet now has to decide, or Fnatic have to decide, where they're going to use his last exothermic charge. Looks like they are going to opt for the church wall. Does step on a goo mine at a bad time there, but he will pull that out. And look, there's not long to go. I don't think Magnet can even use his exothermic charge at this stage. It's potentially becoming too late. They are just going to have to start pushing through as these smoke babes are really denying their push through Moto. Strider still has blue hold as Arlo finds one onto Mentalist. Magnet will start to open the wall with only 2 seconds remaining. He gets fragged out. There's going to be no chance for Fnatic. A great round from Homeless in the end. That roam delaying just enough and the picks working out in Homeless's favor.
Yeah, and I guess we called it a roam a couple of times, but I'm sure we can probably both agree that it wasn't really a roam because, yes, they put up the setup, yes, it wasted time, but they didn't actually have the manpower up there. I don't think there was a single engagement on that first floor. It was barricades, it was hatches. That really slowed down Fnatic. And as we alluded to earlier, when Fnatic take that time, when they don't have much left to go for the execute late, they start to look a little weaker. That compounded as well, Lusty taken out on the Hibana, made getting that wall open so tough. We saw Magnet try in a last-ditched attempt try and get it open, but by then, the round was over and Homeless just cleaned up.
Absolutely. Only having 3 seconds left when he decided to open that wall basically just meant that it was too late. There was nothing he would have been able to do. He would have had to somehow freakishly win that gunfight against the smoke. And even then, there were still 3 other Homeless players alive, so just, yeah, the time really coming back against them. Nice round from Homeless. They are going to attempt CCTV cash, which, again, they almost won last time. It came down to that 1v2. Stig's in a pretty good situation. He did down Virtue, so it was essentially the 1v1 as Stig's died. But not to be, and have they made any adaptations? I've got to say, they put so much utility towards the master bedroom side that just did not get touched by Fnatic. So hopefully this time, that can be used to better use, and maybe that will be the difference for the round.
I like the little 6 invitational graphic there. And I know you've heard this story and you're going to hate me for saying this on stream. But I was sitting at home. I was playing the new 6 invitational event. If you haven't updated the game, jump in, play it. It's really fun. And then next thing I know, I'm here replacing Manix. I hope Manix doing all right, but yeah. Oh well, I'll give up playing that game mode for Casting Pro League. I feel like it's a pretty good trade.
Yeah, man, of course. And
I get to do it with you.
Having some great games too. Homeless are actually they're performing so well, and I think that's great to see because don't want to see quick, easy matches either way. And yeah, look, Fnatic, they're not taking too much time here with these drones, and actually now they're looking like they are going to invest some time onto the master bedroom side.
Maybe in that previous round, Fnatic did drone out that side and just committed to not pushing it because there was so much utility, and now it's just flipped and Fnatic have gone, huh, maybe they thought it wasn't that good, so let's try and target that this time. We'll have to wait and see. Looks like they are droning it out quite heavily. Virtue, one of the soft breaches, is heading over in that location. Lusty alongside on the Hibana. So it looks like it might be a split push. Maybe Magnet's going to go to the main wall on the Thermite. Lusty will generate angles from behind. Talking about Magnet, he's just taken Strider off the board, so that is Pulse well and truly taken up. I'm not sure where that was from. Come on, MC, find him for us. Where is he? I actually don't know.
Yeah, maybe Strider potentially tried to get a little over-aggressive there, run out somewhere, but either way, that is the opening pick. So again, that's not going to be great for Homeless. It's intel from the Pulse. They're not going to have a C4 unused. So a nice pick from Magnet there, and now they can make an effort to open the CCTV wall. They will be relying on Tex to deny this bandit juggle. Stig is heading there right now, so he may be able to get it. The EMP going down on that mute jammer, and no, he's actually not going to pay any attention to it. He's running away. That means that the wall will go open.
Opened a little bit later than their last attack as Stig gets Virtue. And as this time keeps ticking down, the chances of Fnatic winning the round begin to dwindle. If Homeless can just waste another 30 seconds, they'll be set up really nicely to deny the execute. Lusty though, he will drop Dino off the board. Stig's as well is super low, so you could even argue it's a 2 versus 4 at this stage. Homeless's chances just like that, starting to slip away slowly. Lusty gets Stigs off the board, and now it well and truly is a 4 versus 2. Arlo's holding the breach as best he can, but he only has the SMG in hand. He might be able to get one, but if they retrade it, they will be left in a 3-on-1.
Yeah, definitely not going to be easy in this position. Hayward is essentially stuck on that garage balcony because that shield was in his way, but he actually managed to get past those players watching from the bridge. Did not see it happen. Arlo did just get the person entering from the bridge. Hayward has managed to make it into CC. He could push out from the bridge, and he does find the player out there. He's very much aware that they're on the other side in this 1 versus 2 situation. Lusty is being tagged low, as has Hayward. Now, I'm going to have to try and get this plant down soon. Otherwise, he may have a chance of denying it. The pre-fire not hitting. Lusty will try and stick this now. Guz in the final 15 seconds.
Oh, no way! Mentalist gets wallbanged. Lusty's low as well. One shot from either player will be enough to down him. Hayward pre-fires through the wall, but it's not quite enough. Lusty has actually rotated to the top of the stairs. Hayward is completely unaware that he's done so. Oh, FNATIC will take the round, but man, that was close.
Homeless again, so many just close rounds, 1vx situations that are so close to being achieved. Great play from Hayward, but not to be. Lusty outfoxing the hunter there and managing to secure that kill. FNATIC will be up 3-2. This is again just going very similar to Consulate. This is pretty much exactly how we saw Consulate pan out, with Homeless ending up equaling it out at 3-3. So we'll see whether they can do that again as they're going to Gym Bedroom, which we saw Stig's clutch out earlier on.
Well, if the scoreline does play out similarly to Consulate, doesn't really bode well for Homeless. They were pretty much destroyed to some extent, at least on the scoreline in that second half. The rounds were close, but they didn't close out a single attack there on Consulate. If they draw out this half, we could well see that be replicated. I like the castle pick there from Homeless, a nice 6 pick there, maybe trying to disguise the fact that they are going to this site. Either way, it'll help shut down a lot of common angles, particularly from the balcony, and it looks like Strider will be doing so.
Yes, it is, and that just means that there's more onus on these soft breaches, but they do have an abundance of that. Tex can use his impact charges, as well as Virtue, of course, can use that sledgehammer, so especially those ones on the windows, not going to take too much work for FNATIC to clear here. FNATIC not really doing a whole lot of investment onto the construction side or the cash side last time they pushed this. They really do have a heavy focus on opening up that spy deck wall here, where we're seeing Arlo play right now. And I think if Homeless can delay that just a little bit longer, again, we saw just that simple delay on the church defense was enough to change the stars for Homeless. I think the same can be said about this side. If they just get a slight longer delay, I think they can win it a little bit more comfortably than last time. Let's have to wait and see.
So Arlo always throws out this Valkyrie camera. Couldn't net him a kill, but the pick doesn't quite come at the right time, and he's going to be taken out. So not only have Homeless expended at Black Eye, but they've also been taken out, and Stigs as well. And we were just talking about how they needed to waste time, but I don't think they had to be that aggressive, Raven, and it's basically cost them the round.
Yeah, we'll have to see whether they can bring it back. They have brought a few rounds back from man deficits, but I think that's definitely not the play. Arlo hit a lot of shots on Virtue, but maybe just getting a little too hungry for that kill. He could have backed away, which would have made Virtue just feel a little bit more hesitant about pushing forward. They would have taken a bit more time. That in itself could have been such an effective delay, but in the end, not to be. They've lost 2 players now. It is a 5 versus 3 with Virtue tag quite low. 1 minute played, and that wall is open nice and quick yet again. FNATIC having a lot of presence now, and it's going to be big pressure on Homeless for these final 2 minutes.
FNATIC often thrive in these scenarios. Yes, they have a clear man advantage, but they still need to make the first move and go for the plant. I'm expecting them to go heavy in towards site, try and get some retrades. Hayward, he has a C4 prepped over towards the hatch. I don't think there's a player above there, so it shouldn't net him a kill. Strider's playing quite passive as Dino's holding in towards Con. So Homeless are holding most of the common entry routes that need to be, but do they have the manpower really to win this round?
I mean, 2 big players that have clutched out for them already, Hayward and Dino, both on the board. So they've definitely got the frag power, but FNATIC are being very thorough here, starting to surround their opponents a little more. We see them droning out CC cash side. They're going to see that clear, and if they can start to get a lot of control on that side, it's going to really just surround Homeless for this final execute. And speaking of, Strider has been taken out by Lusty. It's just looking too good for FNATIC at this stage. 5 versus 2 as we enter the final minute of the round.
Dino was droned out in his position as well and truly been revealed as he shoots through the wall. 50 seconds on the board and is going to be taken down. Hayward needs to hit a 5v1, but FNATIC will have none of it, and they're going to take another flawless round. I believe that's the second for the map so far. And Homeless now looking a little bit dicey as they head into the second half.
Yeah, and I think just an unfortunate start to that round. Just getting a little bit trying to be too cheeky, a little bit too hungry to make something happen. I think just playing a bit safer, securing a 3-3 would have been a bit more of the play, but not to be there. We'll be facing a 2-round deficit coming into their attack half. And this is where it's do or die for them. They're going to have to pull out some solid attacks, which, as you pointed out, they are yet to win an attack tonight. They did not win any attacks on Consulate. Now this is their chance to show that they can win some attacks, and it's got to start happening now on Clubhouse.
CCTV and Cash will be the first site that Homeless will need to attack. Sort of alluded to this earlier that CCTV and Cash might be falling out of the meta, particularly the first pick a little bit. But FNATIC are quite comfortable to go there. I feel like the scoreline is probably helping to boost that, and they'll feel quite content in trying to hold this objective. A lineup that isn't too crazy. They only have one breach denial, so they haven't brought the Bandit, nor have they brought the Cade. So maybe they're trying to play off the default plan. They might be not too uncomfortable with them getting in towards the side. FNATIC probably have the processes and the strats in place to deny that quite easily, you would hope.
Yeah, and we'll have to see. And something that FNATIC did last night that I found very interesting is they double reinforced the wall that is in CCTV towards the garage catwalk. And that means that the attackers will have to use some kind of hard breach to be able to create a rotate for themselves to get to the bomb, which is commonly already pre-made by the defense, because somebody usually plays that garage catwalk area and they like to be able to rotate out. It's not something that FNATIC seem to do, so it'll be interesting to see how Homeless deal with that. Looks like Magnet is not going to play that balcony position. Maybe he is around that window area. Probably just going to delay some time, shoot some drones, and rotate back. Have to see how it pans out. And also if Homeless decide to really hard contest this, or are they just going to hard focus on CCTV for now?
Interesting to see Magnet holding that garage position, as you mentioned, with the wall being double reinforced. Yes, it makes the entry harder for the attackers, but it also makes the rotate really hard for Magnet. So if they shut down that catwalk, he's only really going to be left to lie down prone and throw out some view mines. Either way, Strider will now get the main wall open. Interestingly enough, the right side of the wall. Stig gets the entry, so there we go. That's Magnet well and truly deleted off the server. And garage control should now be with Homeless.
It's really curious. They have this mute, but there was no mute jammer at all on the CCTV wall. So Strider opened it for free, and so much intel on Magnet, Stig's able to just pre-fire it essentially and take him out. And it's been retaken by Virtue, so Homeless, this is a massive oversight by them, killing that player and just not immediately taking it. In fact, I'm not even sure they've shot down the garage door, so no wonder Virtue felt comfortable to retake it. A bit of a trade coming out to make it a 3 versus 3, but this is going to be a real painful position now because Virtue is quite safe again on that balcony.
Homeless unable to hold off the rotator. Stiggs misses that shot on the rotate. Oh, that player jumping in towards bedroom may have been downed. Arlo could be on 1 HP. It's hard to tell. Either way, Strider is left outside the main breach. It's a 1-on-3 as Arlo's finished off. And this round has really turned on its head. Homeless looks so strong when they open the wall, but now Strider's been forced to push in towards the site. FNATIC should have some intel. They have Valkyrie on the board and they will take him out. FNATIC will take round number 7 and Homeless still unable to win an attack tonight.
Just, again, another small oversight from Homeless really changed that round. They started it so well, but just allowing the garage to be retaken, the fact that they didn't even shoot down the garage door, I think, is the biggest oversight. It's almost step one always when you're attacking this side, is you at least shoot that door down, so once you clear catwalk, the defenders don't feel like they can comfortably walk past that door. They think somebody's probably holding it, or someone can peek it. But not to be, Virtue just walked straight back up, and it meant that Lusty could still comfortably play around CCTV, and that ended up opening it up completely. He downed Arlo, shot the guy that was outside the breach, and that was pretty much the end at that stage for Homeless.
Yeah, starting to sound like a little bit of a broken record. It's Homeless failing to control rotates. Maybe they had intel, but as you mentioned, the door wasn't even open, so there was nothing they could do, which allowed FNATIC to regain some really critical control. And despite the wall being opened, they couldn't get in, which stalled them out. The play over towards bedroom ended up being a trade, which again slowed down Homeless's attack, and from there, FNATIC just had full control. And unfortunately for Homeless, they couldn't close out that attack, despite it again being a close round. Lusty there, he's on double figures, he's looking pretty happy.
Yeah, and look, he was a player that we saw a bit quiet for them last night, which, again, he wasn't necessarily needed to step up. There was other players fragging out, Lusty fulfilling a support role nicely. And tonight, he's really on fire. And look, this is Homeless's time. They have to stop the bleeding, because if FNATIC end up on 6-2, that's a 4-round deficit, as well as the fact that Homeless have to be perfect at that stage to at least secure the draw. So this is a super critical round for Homeless, as I said, to stop the bleeding and try and form some kind of comeback. But Stiggs is taken so low in that opening engagement. A bit of a spawn peek happening, and Virtue wants to reinforce this wall.
Oh, no way, Virtue. He gets away with it. Oh, my goodness. Stiggs. That is unfortunate. That's a little bit BM there from Virtue. If he got that kill then, I would not have wanted to be in the same voice chat as Stiggs. He would have been tilted.
Yep.
Either way, though, he gets away with his life, and he still has a little bit of utility. Whoa! Okay, Stiggs.
Nice
Settle down. That's Mentalist off the board. He's back with Vengeance, and that's Goro taken out.
Yeah, I mean, he may have lost a lot of HP, but he has won the man account at this stage in the first 50 seconds there. Wasn't a great way to start, but at least he has brought it back now. Something that's different between these teams is FNATIC was so efficient at opening that wall, and is something that's still not been done by Homeless. It puts so much pressure on the defense. I think it's such a priority, and they are going to have to open it soon if they want to get that pressure onto the defense. Lusty holding firm, and Stiggs, he has been ignited now. He did not like that spawn peek attempt, and he is just going to try and take them all on by himself.
Stiggs has been activated. Dino, though, he gets shut down. Tex with a nice C4 kill. Virtue sees one on the rafters, and he'll get that one as well. So just like that, it's flipped around to a 3-on-3. Halfway through the round, so plenty of time for Homeless to work with. But do they still have the operators on the board that they need to win this round?
Lusty is, in fact, the only one on that third floor, and he's not on either of the bomb sites. He's just in construction, which clearly hasn't been droned because Arlo just gets completely surprised. Shot through the window by Lusty. It's falling apart for Homeless. A strong position given up again. Strider is going to open up this bathroom wall, and we're seeing FNATIC retake now. There's another one that's come up main stairs. Almost got the jump on him, and that stun pushing him away, but in this final minute, they've got a lot they're going to have to deal with, Guz, and it's not going to be easy.
Tex and Virtue roaming. Name a more iconic duo, and the problem with Homeless is that they have one player on 1 HP. Stiggs could be taken out easily. Talking about being taken out, that's Virtue. So it is effectively a 2-on-2. Tex could get the res, but it is risky. Lusty's now left to hold the breach as the res will come out. So it's back to a 3-on-2. Strider could get the kill onto Virtue if he took him down in the first occasion, because he will be low. He's now going to push in towards the site, though. Lusty may not be aware that he's pushed all the way in. He's still holding Gym window. The ping comes out, and the wide peak will take him down. Stiggs as well will be dropped, and he won't be able to self-res in time. FNATIC will bring it to match point.
Yeah, FNATIC just too good bringing that back. Homeless did have that early advantage. They had the early lead in the round, but not able to capitalize again. Ping's coming out on Lusty at that final moment, but the pre-fire not coming out to catch him as he rotates, and FNATIC on match point now, guys. They have secured themselves at least 1 point from this. Homeless have 4 perfect rounds ahead of them if they want to get a point. Otherwise, we will be seeing FNATIC again with a flawless evening.
Homeless still yet to win an attack. That is not good for them. A lot of the rounds have been close, but none of them have really looked like they've been in a great position to win it. So unfortunately, they could well go home without taking one win on that side. They still have time though. Plenty of time. They could even bring it back to the draw despite it looking unlikely. They need to start getting momentum though. They need to get early picks in these rounds. Hold off the rotates. Be mindful that FNATIC are aggressively tag roaming. Try and shut that down and then progressing towards the site. It's going to be a tall order. FNATIC just looking stronger and stronger as the rounds go by.
Yeah, and we want to talk about the roam on this church bomb site. Not sure if FNATIC are going to do it, but Mentalist has gone the castle. Virtue on the vigil. Looks like it's going to be a bit of hell for Homeless to be able to drone out this and clear it to be able to actually open the things they need to open, such as these hatches in the wall. So we'll see how it plays out, but it looks like it is going to be this classic roam setup with the castle barricades hindering the push through the bar. Homeless definitely going to have to be thorough here and not give up so much too soon. They could elect to ignore it and push direct. We've seen a couple of teams do that. Magnet's going to do a little run out here. There are 2 players there, Guz.
Looks like they might be droning at the moment, so Magnet hasn't seen them yet. I'm not sure if he can see that player in spawn behind the fence. Potentially as he moves, he's going to peek as he sees the movement. Can he get the head?
Ooh,
no!
That's a nice shot.
That is a great shot from Strider. That's him denied. And Homeless now could potentially skip past the roam, push in through dirt and get control of sight.
That's a good start. It's a start they definitely needed to be able to bring it back. So really well played by them. I think maybe speaking too soon though, Hayward looked like he almost hit that door to his doom. There are 2 or 3 FNATIC players around that area that could have peeked it. They are seeing a rotate around towards the billiards side, rappelling up to the top floor, so they might start to clear down. They seem very much aware of this roam, but there are a lot of FNATIC players on this roam. It's something that Homeless could have chosen to ignore, but I think at this stage it's too late. They're going deep as Virtue, completely stunned, gets the headshot onto Stig. So we're seeing some trades come out to make it a 3 versus 3. Lusty is low, but two very important players off the board for Homeless. It's not just a Buck and Zofia lost, but it's two gunners in Hayward and Stigs.
Virtue still hasn't been taken out. Intel as well on the default camera. Will spot the player, has rotated towards Pool. Lusty's going to try and offer some support from below. He has a C4 and not much HP. If he throws that, he could get a kill over towards Pool table. Flashes come out, and he won't be able to support Virtue with that C4 any longer. Virtue uses that to push upstairs, and now Homeless will need to either ignore that once again or push towards the site. Homeless have been baited perfectly by FNATIC into this roam, and so far it's looking a little bit dire despite having the HP advantage. They're taking a long time. Dino though, he drops Lusty. Virtue is also off site last scene, so Homeless now need to capitalize.
Yeah, and Strider had pushed all the way down dirt, so he's in a very good position. They could essentially just plant Arsenal at this stage if they can get some cover on that doorway, which looks like might be what he does. He's pushed all the way through into Arsenal. He's holding a nice angle towards Mentalist there, who's trying to hold it down on Church. Virtue comes back though, gets the double onto Dino. Strider is just going to stick this plant. Arlo there to cover, so it will be post-plant now. FNATIC will have to retake. Virtue is going to have to come down those main stairs, as they didn't actually open any of those hatches.
Virtue's prone, going for the peak. He's low on HP and will have to hit a very nice shot to really start gaining some momentum for his team in this post-plant. Strider's just going to hold that angle though. He has full HP and the advantage. Both players on the floor just wriggling around, trying to see who's going to be baited first, and it will be Virtue. He's taken out. And now Mentalist needs to clutch it up from blue. He's running the shotgun though, Raven. This is not looking good. Long range is definitely not the speciality of that weapon. He's going to push up with the pistol. Not much time to go, and Homeless will shut that down. And finally, they will get an attack tonight.
They will, and it's off the back of a good start. Strider hitting a beautiful shot onto Magnet, who tried to do that run out in construction. They got the advantage. They kept it against adversity. The roam was working out pretty well for FNATIC. I was pretty concerned that Homeless just were going to all bleed out before they got a chance to push site, but Strider seizing the day, pushing down dirt, able to get that plant down. It was good by them, but they've got 3 more rounds to go.
Tall order. 3 rounds straight on the attack. Still wouldn't want to be Homeless in this situation. I think that was an okay attack. I feel like if Virtue wasn't taken as low there on the roam, it could have come back to bite them, because they were baited into that roam. It wasn't the cleanest of roam clears. It really did help that Magnet open the wall and allowed Strider to just push up and get the plant late in that round.
Yeah.
So on that account, Homeless played it really well. But the roam clear did leave a little bit to be desired. This site though, roam clearing probably not going to be as much of an issue.
Yeah, and they started this round, last time they attacked this, they started the round really well last time. The oversight was not opening the garage door and not taking the advantage once they had cleared up Magnet. So we'll see if they can learn from their mistakes last time. FNATIC looking pretty much like they're setting it up the same way here. So Homeless won't have to do a whole lot of adaptation to the strategy. Have to see whether FNATIC do make any changes to the way it's played, but
10 seconds remaining.
they're going to have to be near perfect again, guys, because they've got 3 rounds ahead of them if they want to get at least a point.
Man, FNATIC are going to hate MC, who's observing this game, just giving away all the beautiful Valkyrie cameras. Lusty trying to be sneaky, but he won't get away with it. Homeless could actually have some troubles clearing out those Valkyrie cameras. No IQ on the board. Thatcher will probably use his EMPs on the main wall, so they're going to have to be mindful if they do enter below, and potentially on the balcony as well, that FNATIC could have full intel as to where they are.
Yeah, another thing that happened last time with FNATIC is they're not running any wall denial besides mute, and last time there were actually no mute jammers on the CCTV wall. So Homeless were able to get it for free last time, and that's potentially what's about to happen here as Strider comfortably places the charge. No, it does pull off just to wait and see. That Pest is going to be a bit of a pain, but I think he's just going to try it anyway. Starting to surround the position of CCTV, which means some of those rotates won't be as available. But Guz, do you see what I see? Garage door is still closed, which means that potentially FNATIC could attempt to retake again, but Magnet's still there, so they have to deal with this position if they want to have the control desired.
Magnet was taken out quite quickly the last time FNATIC tried to hold this side, but Virtue, who's currently playing the top of blue, was able to retake that, and he's probably in a position to do so again if Magnet does drop. Virtue probably playing off the intel on those Valkyrie cameras placed earlier. He's going to make his way over towards Garage. The wall has been open. Multiple angles he needs to be mindful of. He gets one though. Almost got the second as they trained up, but he doesn't. He pre-fires through the wall. Oh my goodness, that was almost another off the board. And once again, Homeless having issues with flushing out these roamers. Virtue, he's going to make his way down blue and actually go for a risky play over towards Oil Pit. This could be do or die.
It really could. There is a player right above him, and he sees it. He's not going to take any shots, though, playing a patient game. He's going to be able to get the one on the stairs, though. He's not going to miss that one. Arlo taken out now. Virtue really just being the thorn in the side of Homeless. Dino will find a refrag, and they're very much aware he's still down there, but Virtue again just taking out Dino. He's on the triple. He's going for the ace here. It's a 2 versus 4. 50 seconds to go, and Diffuser is not in the hands of an attacker.
Virtue.
Attackers recovered the
Virtue,
diffuser.
Virtue. He's already hit 3.
Attackers have located
2
a
more
bomb.
for the ace. Strider and Stiggs trying to progress towards side. Stiggs has sneakily made his way up towards Garage, but he needs to be mindful of the flank, and it looks like there isn't a drone to watch it, so he's going to be using his gun to do so. Virtue is aware there's possibly a player there, doesn't get the kill though. Stiggs with a nice frag, but the refrag is immediately coming out from, I believe, Mentalist inside of the first floor. Strider's made his way through the breach, and he sees one there on ping, doesn't quite hit the shot, and he gets shut down, leaving Stiggs now to res himself up. Only has a couple HP to work with here. 10 seconds on the board, and FNATIC should be able to take the map. He pre-fires the top of the stairs. Can't even hit the Valkyrie. Stiggs. That's unfortunate, but FNATIC will take round number 10, and that's 2 map wins for them tonight.
It is, and they look much stronger again on Clubhouse, guys. I think this is starting to become a pretty big statement in ANZ. Don't take FNATIC to Clubhouse, because they are looking pretty comfortable on it. Great map from Virtue in particular. He was really just such a pain for Homeless to deal with. End of the day, they didn't really get too close on their attacks.
Not the worst that we've seen Homeless. Equally not the best. And look, FNATIC just outclassed them. Yes, both scores were 7-3. But Homeless didn't play terribly. I think it's a bit of a hard game to really digest properly. Homeless just didn't quite have the sort of mindset to really close out those rounds, and it was frustrating. A couple of times I'm just sitting here going, like the Virtue 3K, come on. It's just so frustrating to watch. Probably way more frustrating for them playing. But look, their season's not over. They've got plenty of games to go, and hopefully they can bounce back.
They do, and look, there was a lot of positive things that I think Homeless can still take away from that. It's not to be overshadowed by the fact they were playing FNATIC, who are in fantastic form right now. In fact, their last 4 maps, now including these 2, were 7-3, 7-3, 7-3, 7-3, all quite strong scorelines. Even if the rounds were close, they're the ones closing them out. Homeless can take some strengths from that. Of course, there's some stuff to improve. They are debutantes in this season of Pro League, but they've put up some good fights.
Well, you mentioned that there are areas of improvement for Homeless. I guess let's sort of dig into that. What do Homeless need to do, particularly on their attack, which looked weaker than their defense? What do they really need to focus on to try and improve? Because from my point of view, flank watch should probably be number 1. Refragging also probably left a little bit to be desired. Yeah,
I think flank watch is a big one. We saw that be really their Achilles heel on Consulate especially. Virtue also be able to just completely run around in Clubhouse, especially we saw it perfectly in that last round. He was all over the place in like Lounge Garage and just able to get the picks wherever he wants. Didn't really see a drone in Lounge. Sometimes you see that watching the position if you're trying to take Garage. Didn't see that at all. I think that's a big one. I think the other is just being composed in the late round. So many times they had advantages. The biggest one that still stands in my mind was on Consulate. They had a 2 versus 5, so they had huge man advantage. And Mentalist and Magnet just were able to clutch it out, and it just came on the back of maybe them tunnel visioning a bit to try and get Magnet. He was playing on the yellow stairs. It's just not something maybe they should have focused on at that stage. But I think that it was all experience, and I think these first 2 weeks have probably been a fantastic learning experience for Homeless. I think that's probably going to be a little bit scary for their opponents that they've still got ahead of them, because now they've had some fantastic learning experiences that if they work on it, yeah, they can improve.
All right, let's flip the tables. FNATIC, as you mentioned, 4 maps straight, all 7-3. I notice a little bit of a trend there, 7-3.
What can you do to beat Fnatic? What does the team need to do? Because it looks like almost everything that was thrown at them, not only tonight, but last night, they just shut it down.
Yeah, I'm definitely starting to become convinced this is one of the hardest Fnatic lineups to deal with. Previously, one of their weaknesses was the same weakness we talk of with Wildcard, and that is their attack speed, just not leaving enough towards the end. But this roster and their roles that they've adapted to just seems to be so hard to do that with. Even if you delay them, they're still pretty thorough. We saw it once, Homeless delayed them enough on that church attack, and Fnatic didn't really have any time to get anything done. So maybe that still can be exploited, but they're so quick at adapting, and they're just so calm and collective. So I think trying to derail their mindset somehow would be a big advantage. Keeping them guessing, it's something I said at the start. If Homeless can try and be a little bit unpredictable and try and play more their game, maybe that can just derail Fnatic a little bit. But there's not many cracks in this Fnatic armor at the moment, guys. I think it's pretty hard for the teams in ANZ at the moment.
All right, well, let's ask Magnet what he thinks. We have him on the line. Let's bring him up. Magnet, how's it going, mate? 4 maps straight, 7-3 on all 4. How you feeling?
Feeling really good. Yeah, what's that? 4 in a row. We're playing like we should be. We're playing like ourselves. We're having a lot of fun. So, yeah, feeling good at the moment at this stage of Pro League.
Yeah, and you said last night that you guys were really happy with the roster and you felt like you were really setting into a comfort zone. Tonight we saw you guys trade a lot of rounds back and forth, especially when Homeless were at least on defense. Was there something in particular with their defenses that were causing some other issues for you guys?
Not really. It's just more that we want to make sure everything is covered because we know Homeless is a very aggressive team and they're always trying to find an opening to make a play. But yeah, there's nothing that threw us off with their defense.
Yeah, and one thing we do want to talk about is the 6 invitational groups are now out. You guys have seen the group that's ahead of you. What are your first initial thoughts on the group that you'll be having to contend with?
In my opinion, I think it's at the top of every region, right? You have Empire top of EU, Dark Zero top of NA, FaZe, you know, top of Latam, and then us. I believe now we are still the strongest APAC team. We were watching, Diz and I were watching the draws, and we're like, oh my god, Group A is stacked, dude. Like, oh my god, watch us get in this group, and we ended up getting in the group. But I think we do a lot better when we have nothing to lose. You know, when we're playing to win, not playing not to lose. So I think it'll be fun. We're definitely looking to get out of groups, which will be helped by our London bootcamp we will be going to.
Nice.
All right, I'm going to ask you a question that you're probably not going to like, but I'm going to ask it anyway. Do you guys have what it takes to win the 6th Invitational? Yes or no? Give me an answer.
Look, at the moment, I wouldn't give you a very confident answer, but I'll give you an answer after our bootcamp, hey? We'll see.
All right, well, thanks, Magnet.
This is definitely, sorry, this is
No, go ahead.
This is definitely our strongest Fnatic roster yet, and we're definitely hoping to make more than just a few upsets.
All right, well, thanks, Magnet. We appreciate your time and all the best on the bootcamp.
No worries. Thanks, guys.
That's to be expected, right?
I'd be pretty happy. 4 maps straight, all
Yeah.
relatively convincing.
Yep.
They're looking pretty good.
They are, and I definitely think they're really settling into some fantastic form. You could argue, like, oh, they've only beaten, like, Kanga, Homeless, Sinister, but, like, to be honest, those teams aren't pushovers. As we said, Homeless put up a great effort. Sinister put up a great effort on Clubhouse last night as well. They're definitely not a pushover team. And even Kanga, they're showing to be such a strong team, actually taking a map off Wildcard. So I think, if anything, those teams are showing the strength of Fnatic, because Fnatic have pretty much breezed past them. I think it can't be denied at this stage that they are one of the strongest Fnatic rosters we've ever seen. And clearly Magnet is feeling quite confident, and they've got a bootcamp coming out, so that's even scarier. They're going to be able to work on some of those minor issues that have somewhat crept in. Yeah, I think it's going to be a pretty exciting invitational.
And I guess boot camping, then going invitational, when they come back to Pro League, man, they are going to look even better, I feel. And that's looking pretty dangerous for the higher level teams that they will be playing later in the season.
Yeah, it is. And sometimes you'd say that's normally the other side. Maybe the second half is usually where you start to see maybe more some upsets. But I think, if anything, Fnatic are just going to be playing into form coming into that. So as you said, it's really where, at the end of the season, it's where the fight happens for those final points to get to the APAC LAN. But Fnatic already have such a big advantage now. They've played 3 opponents. They're pretty far in front, and they're going to be coming back in some pretty great form. So, yeah, it's a dangerous combo.
All right, let's shift the focus over to Homeless now. We've mentioned that they're looking okay, not the best against the very best of the best. I guess the question is, how do you think they're going to perform for the rest of the season? Because as it progresses, they will be starting to verse teams that are lower seeded. That's just how the format works. Are they a shot to finish sort of top 4? Because I think that's sort of where I projected them to be this season.
I think it's not out of the realm of possibility. Like I said, there are a lot of positives for them that we've seen in their performances. It's going to come down to how effectively they can work on their issues. They are going to have quite the break over 6 Invitational. I think it's about 5 weeks or 6 weeks that the teams will have to take a break, unless they're playing a 6 Invitational, but that's only Fnatic and Wildcard. So they've got a lot of time there, and I think, again, that could be a bit of a dangerous combo because they'll be able to really have their own, even if it's online, mini boot camp to work on these issues. And the teams that have them later in the season, it could be scary because so far, it's something I said in the pre-show, they have quite a good work ethic, it sounds like, and they've got the support staff to help them through those things. I think they can definitely get on top of it.
Yeah, and I think it's actually interesting that you mentioned boot camping because it's a concept that not many ANZ teams really get to experience, at least internationally. Fnatic and I believe Wildcard will also be boot camping overseas quite shortly, but teams such as Homeless who don't have that organizational representation and don't have the funding are unable to do that. So yes, they can really hone in online, but there's only a limited number of high quality teams that you can actually play against and improvements that can be made. So hopefully Homeless can keep putting in performances, get that org support, and who knows, maybe they'll make some drastic improvements.
Yeah, and that's a great point about the org support, and it's the downside to being an orgless team is there is nothing external to help you, no extra resources. Of course, you've got your support staff, but boot camps are so valuable, especially for teams that haven't been able to get it to lands. And yeah, that's something that they're not getting at this stage, but they have put in some good performances. Like they had that draw against Wildcard. Even though these both maps were 7-3, there were some really great moments. And so if any org is really watching close enough, they could potentially see the potential there. It's just a matter of Homeless maybe just getting some scores on the board.
All right, well, Stigs is ready and waiting, so let's bring him up. G'day, Stigs. Commiserations for the results this evening. Probably not what you would have expected, at least on the scoreline. How you guys feeling?
Yeah, we're feeling all right, I guess. You know, a bit down on ourselves because we made a lot of mistakes internally, but, you know, we're just going to try to bounce back. We tried to bounce back on Club, but I don't know. Fnatic are just another beast right now, honestly.
Yeah, and I have to say, I think especially on Clubhouse, they are another beast. And that brings me to my question, actually. I really want to know about the veto. Were both of those maps really maps that you guys had prepared for? Was there any surprise with the veto stage?
No, they were exactly the maps we had prepped for. They were our top 3. So for Fnatic, we prepped for those maps. No, like, we didn't get caught off guard by anything, honestly. It was just, we just simply got out-experienced and outplayed, honestly.
Okay, and one thing in particular that we noted is the whole night you guys won one attack. So it was clearly a weak point for you guys. Is there something in particular that was troubling you with your attacks?
Yeah, I think on my behalf, my gelling wasn't at its best tonight, as well as just the overall team's communication. It wasn't at its level it should be. So that's something we really need to look back on and work on.
I guess looking forward to the rest of the season, you guys will probably be versing some of the lower ranked teams. How are you guys feeling? You've just come off the back of Wildcard and Fnatic, and as you mentioned, Fnatic is just another beast right now. Do you guys reckon you have what it takes against these lower teams in the league?
Honestly, we back ourselves against any team. It's more of just performing on the day and showing up, which is what we need to work on, which is consistency, which we're trying our best. You know, we're really hardworking. So I think, as you guys said over the break, we'll really focus on our minor issues and sort them out.
Yep. No, that's it, man.
All right, well, we were sort of alluding to this earlier. You guys obviously don't have org representation. Before we close it out, is there anything you'd like to say to any potential orgs or maybe some of your fans out there?
I'd like to just thank everybody for watching and stopping by, supporting our team. It means a lot. To any orgs, you know, if you're looking for contact, I'd contact Catavase on Twitter. He's always responding, and you know, we're super hardworking. We'd love to, you know, represent an org. So hopefully sometime in 2020 we can get that.
Awesome. Well, we appreciate your time, Stigs, and we'll see you next time.
Appreciate it, guys. See you later.
Bye. A little bit down in the dumps.